So if you keep wondering why conservatives can't just come together and beat back the liberals, it's because you are using the liberals' exact argument to support liberal concepts. You are empowering the liberals. You just don't like where their line in the sand is. You want the line in the sand to be way back here. Hello, I'm Jacob and you're watching the Prepper's Bunker Outdoors. Today I want to talk about our neighbors up north in Canada. They have ever so politely just allowed Justin Trudeau to enact a universal handgun sale and transfer ban. So no more sales or transfers of firearms as all of their dirty, corrupt politicians talk with each other and figure out how they are going to ban the rest of your guns. It's just taking too long to ban all of your guns, so he just went ahead and signed a piece of paper saying no more transfers of firearms, pistols, and no more sales. Now, the issue that I have with this is I am a believer of human rights. The right to self-defense is a human right. The right to life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness, right? And so the Second Amendment and our entire Constitution, the idea in the Bill of Rights is that these are human rights that the government cannot trample, and therefore it is the government's job to uphold these rights in America for Americans. But if the right to be armed is a human right, then it doesn't matter where you are from. And so what happened in Canada, I want to make a little side note here. If you take, let's say, an active shooter class, you're getting private professional firearms training and you're taking an active shooter class. The first thing, or let's say you are in a scenario class, the first thing that you should learn is that you never get down on the ground. Not for a thug who's already got a gun pulled, not for a bank robber, not for anybody. So the reason is you've given up your mobility and you never give them your gun. Okay? So it always starts this way. First, it's get on the ground. You've given up your mobility. Now it's give me your gun, because the second you get on the ground, you realize how vulnerable you are. And even if you are going to attack them by hand, you have to overcome your position on your face on the ground before you can do anything else. Maybe you're some kind of Brazilian jiu-jitsu master and you think you can do all kinds of flippy, spinny tricks, right? And if they come close to you, you're just going to wrap them up and crack their neck like a good... Doggone, what's that embarrassing dude's name? In all of those terrible Hollywood movies that everybody used to think was an actual martial artist. He has long robes and he talks like this. Really tough. Yeah, and black long hair. Alright, so you think that you're going to Steven Seagal this guy if he comes up, but let's say you're the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu master. You are Hoist Gracie himself. That doesn't do you a whole lot of good lying on your gut, waiting for him to come close. If he doesn't come close, he just pops you in the head. A 4-year-old could do it, right? So stop with the fantasies. You don't give up your mobility. You don't give up your firearm. Now, to get back to the topic on hand, in 2020, when the Canadians gave up their right to own all of these semi-automatic rifles and stuff like that, that was getting on the ground. What we just saw in Canada is Canadians were neutered because this handgun purchase and transfer sale is you sliding the gun over. That's where it ends. That's where this has gone. Now, as a people, Canadians, where do you go from here? Now, of course, when you look up articles about this, the Canadian press will say that this is fact-based legislation for your safety. Think of the children. And of course, we have a bunch of conservative Canadians saying, man, if we could just band together as conservatives, these liberals are always winning because we can't stand together on anything. But then you ask, what do you actually stand for? Because there is all arms laws, offensive or defensive, are infringements. You either support the Second Amendment, stating very clearly that all arms laws, arms being items or tools used offensively or defensively, any law regarding arms is illegal for a government, or you're supporting the liberals. Because think about what the liberals here are saying. I don't care if you're Canadian or America. Any liberal you pick out, it could be in Russia, they're going to say only the military or police should have guns. That's where we draw the line, only the professionals. Or maybe they're going to say, I support private gun ownership, but only for hunting weapons. Or they're going to say, I support personal firearm ownership, but only for law-abiding citizens who get licensed and who are tested and who have met our criterias and who have paid the applicable fees and continue to pay the applicable fees. Or maybe they say, I support the private ownership of certain firearms under certain criteria because of certain reasons. Because you don't want that big scary guy over there to have a gun on him, do you? We're going to stop it with the law. The fact of the matter is that the liberals will always win until conservatives can come together under the truth and behind human rights. Firearms ownership is a human right regardless of where you live, and to support anything else is to be a liberal. And all of the so-called conservatives who support anything that their conservative leader says, oh, I believe in the Second Amendment, but those gun laws that Ronald Reagan made, those are okay because Reagan, he has the kind of red, white, and blue frosting that I like. Or Donald Trump, it doesn't matter who. If you hold that position, you are simply a weak-hearted, soft-spined coward who's willing to give up your responsibility and your children's sovereignty because you have bought off on the lies of your preferred political Zionist, globalist, elitist, whatever the case may be. If you do not support the fact that all arms laws are infringements, you are the enemy of human rights and of liberty. And so if you keep wondering why conservatives can't just come together and beat back the liberals, it's because you are using the liberals' exact argument to support liberal concepts. You are empowering the liberals. You just don't like where their line in the sand is. You want the line in the sand to be way back here. But the article that you say that you support says there can't be any line. Because if there is any line, the government will use any excuse under the book to manipulate your weak, cowardly little emotions to support moving that line just a little further. So, my fellow Canucks, Americans are no better than you. None of the American soldiers, not a single American soldier who took an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, has done so. As a matter of fact, most veterans are in fact themselves domestic enemies of the Constitution and worship domestic enemies of the Constitution like Evan Hafer, Matt Best, Jared Taylor, right? So we're not as far down. Maybe we haven't slid our guns across the floor yet to old Uncle Sam, who's freaking got the gun to the back of our heads. But we're already on our bellies. Nobody over here is doing anything. Our political system has given the elitists and globalists and Zionists or whatever else more red tape to get around. But the American people aren't doing anything. You guys aren't doing anything. Your organizations aren't doing anything. So the real question is, where do we go now? For any person in this world who lives under a tyrannical regime, which is every single country in the world, where do you go now? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Check out the description box, see how you can support this channel. I've got my own brand information through my knife brand or my rifle sling brand there. Patreon, buy me a coffee, affiliate links, all that crap. And talk to y'all later. Have a blessed